Face-off X, Logan Callahan for the Blue Jays, Anthony Gobriel for Virginia. And they played in March. Gobriel, the Navy transfer, did not play against Johns Hopkins. And Virginia wins the first face-off. They play it back to Nunes. And the Cavaliers will clear as they try to go on offense. Here is Boyden, transfer from Division III Tufts, where he was the D3 Player of the Year. Jack Boyden. Attack for Virginia. McCabe Millen, one of the top freshmen coming out of high school. The incomparable Connor Schellenberger. And now the NCAA's all-time leading goal scorer, Peyton Cormier. First midfield out there, Boyden, Ryan Colsey, son of the three-time All-American at Syracuse, and now Griffin Schutz, who had 3 goals in the regular season win against Hopkins, but Erlin reads this one right away, and the quick outlet gets the Blue Jays going. This Hopkins team trailed in the fourth quarter in round 1 against Lehigh before rallying for a 3-goal win. The Blue Jays scored the final 4 in that game. Russell Melendez, the junior, controls. He began his career at Marquette, flanked on attack by Johns Hopkins' leading scorer, Jacob Angelus, and Garrett Degnan, one of the most prolific scorers in Blue Jay history. 7 in white is Dylan Bauer, senior from Park City, Utah. He's on that first midfield with Collison. And Peshko, 51 in white, also had a 4-goal game against Virginia in March. Bauer dancing around the cage. Angelus turns the corner, looking for the crease feed. And that's Virginia's defense. Jurassic Park, 6'7", 6'6", 6'5" on the interior, but the Blue Jays able to get possession back. The Velociraptors amongst the T-Rexes.
Scrappy ground ball by Garrett Degnan, 40 in white. The initial turnover caused by excellent Virginia interior crease defense. A point of emphasis from Coach Tiffany when we spoke to him.
Virginia's been vulnerable in the defensive midfield at times. Peshko, matched by Chase Yeager, the Harvard transfer. Degnan shoots it wide. Garrett Degnan, 159 career goals. That is tied for second all-time at Johns Hopkins with Ryan Brown. Only Terry Reardon has more. It's good company. Collison on the invert, lowers that shoulder. Lefty out of Canada. Here's the slide, well-timed. Flag down. Too much contact. John Schroeder came over to help and draws the penalty.
This is not going to go over well on the Virginia sideline. It's a pinch double team to perfection. Somehow they call this a hold. Schroeder just put the big man, Collison, on his rear.
49 blue with a hold. 30 seconds. 60 on the shot clock. 30.
I don't know, I didn't see it right here. Watch them, they turn him. Boom, right there, ball's loose. It's a holding call. Does he hook him and yank him down to the turf? Apparently the referee thinks he did.
So the Blue Jays with the extra man where they click at 42% and an early timeout by Lars Tiffany.
Okay, that penalty call does not bode well if you're Coach Tiffany and you want to play this game fast and fearless and be unleashed is what he told us.
Will step aside, opening quarter of quarterfinal number 4.
This game had everything you want from a fan standpoint.
We just saw both coaches, Peter Milliman in season 4 at Johns Hopkins. Lars Tiffany, 2 national titles, now in his 8th season at Virginia.
Odd timeout there, Anish.
What do you think the purpose of that was?
I have no idea. Maybe they got a look from Johns Hopkins they didn't like. They press out initially on this power play.
That gave Hopkins a lot of space initially.
Look, they're pressing out.
Tommy McNeil, 21 in blue. Degnan. Up top, Melendez, who did not score against Lehigh with the extra man, and the Blue Jays lead 1-0. And they brought the band.
You get used to the song to win. There they are. Excellent ball movement. This ends up with a 15-yarder from Melendez, and the key here is dead center, top center. And so he's got a two-way go in terms of his ability to shoot to either side of Nunes. He opts for the three-quarter arm bouncer and skips it in.
Melendez had 37 goals this season. That was just his 16th this year. It's been a down season for him. Face-off won by Callahan.
It's amazing how positive Peter Milliman has stayed with Melendez. Occasionally you'll see Jimmy Ayers play down at attack.
Blue Jays might have something. Degnan stings the top shelf. That is his sweet spot. 46 straight games with a goal for Degnan, and he now moves into sole possession of second place on the Blue Jays all-time goal-scoring list.
Look, Virginia's going to make you play fast. And so when you're playing against the Cavaliers, you've got to take advantage of that and take what they give. They want to cause havoc in the middle portion of the field, and when they do, you get that ball hopping. Angeles, skip pass, crow hop, one step by Degnan, and you're talking velocity approaching 100 miles an hour.
2 goals in the span of 16 seconds for Johns Hopkins. The Blue Jays looking to get back to championship weekend for the first time since 2015. Colucci won the faceoff, gets clobbered, lost his stick. Ben Weyer off the ground. How good was Weyer last week against St. Joe's? 2 assists, 8 ground balls, 4 caused turnovers as a long pole. It's been a journey back to this program for him. Mike Barber had a great article in the Richmond Times-Dispatch about Weyer's battles with drug and alcohol and how he was able to overcome that. And with the support of this team, he's put together a borderline All-American type of season.
No, it is an All-American type season. 6'3" junior out of Alexandria, Virginia. I give him credit for allowing his story to be told. There are so many young people, especially since COVID, in that age group that are struggling with drugs and alcohol.
Cormier, doorstep look, not there.
And for him to go take a year off from Virginia, to go get himself right and then come back, it's an amazing accomplishment.
Cormier setting the pitch. Schellenberger went low. Erlin denies it. Boy, Schellenberger topside all by himself. And the Blue Jays get it back. Deans quickly up ahead. Here comes Jackson Raposo. Hopkins with the momentum early, pushing downhill. Chase Erlin, we've seen what a hot goalie can do. Couple of stops already.
56%, grad student, getting his master's in education. Transfer from Cornell, as you said, led the Big Red to championship weekend. He made the move to Hopkins for this day, for right now. So understand that, getting his team to championship weekend, everything is on the line today.
He's the younger brother of one of the best face-off men of all time, T.D. Erlin. Will be reunited this summer with the Redwoods in the PLL. Angeles against Cole Kastner, one of the best defensemen in the country, 39 in blue. Will play college basketball at Stanford in the fall. Grimes shoots low, it skips wide. Quint, you've always said, this is the hardest game of the tournament. Why?
Well, just mentally, the reality is that if you make championship weekend, your season is a quote-unquote success. And if you lose in the quarterfinals, you kind of come up empty-handed.
Angeles gives it up. Degnan, Nunes got a piece of it. It resets the shot clock.
Especially for both these programs. Like Hopkins, they didn't win the Big Ten championship. Virginia, they did not win the ACC championship. This game defines their season.
Virginia's been a championship weekend fixture. They've gotten there in 3 of the last 4 tournaments. Won it all in 2019 and 2021. McDermott picked up by Mitchell Whalen. Melendez against Yeager. Kastner hedging.
Virginia plays a man-to-man defense.
Melendez gets free. If Yeager shoots low, beats Nunes. Something to watch here. You got the sense talking to Lars Tiffany this week. Matthew Nunes might be on a short leash if he struggles early. He's struggling early. He's allowed 2 from the outside.
Virginia huddles up. They go over the autopsy report as the Hopkins band and their fans cheer. A terrific start. Melendez finds himself against the shorty. Virginia's just slow to double team, and that's kind of who they are. But the key, again, for Melendez is getting to the middle of the field. His second shot from 12 to 15 yards from dead center.
2 goals for Melendez, who last year in round 1 had a Hopkins single-game tournament record 9 points. Battle for the face-off. It's a procedure call, and it goes to Johns Hopkins. Blue Jays in full control almost midway through this first quarter, and now they get a pole goal by the freshman Quentin Kilrain. 4-0 Johns Hopkins. Fire up the band.
Lars Tiffany going to the bullpen early. Matt Nunes coming over to the bench. Enter Kyle Morris. But these Hopkins fans and their band will play all day if the Jays keep winning faceoffs and getting uncontested looks. This one from QK.
He's got a chance to be.
Watch the new QK set his feet and let this rip left-handed from 16.5 yards. A dart.
I think Blue Jay fans thought they had their fill with one.
Kilrain's bursted onto the scene as a freshman playing a position now, close defense, where guys at the D1 level can struggle as freshmen. Super smart. Super smart. He just has such a feel.
Face-off violation, Hopkins. Virginia gets the ball back. Already down 4-0. Kyle Morris has taken over for Matt Nunes in goal. And we're not even at the 8-minute mark of quarter number 1. Here's McCabe Millen. He draws Kilrain, freshman against freshman. Kilrain, the number 2 freshman defender coming out of high school. Millen, the number 2 overall recruit, feeding inside, and he finds Boyden. Virginia's on the board.
Whether McCabe Millen's running attack or midfield, he's such an important part of the Cavalier offensive puzzle. Kilrain gets washed up in the pick, and then he's got to come in front of the net, and that gives Millen all sorts of time. Boyden, as you said, the D3 transfer from Tufts, Canadian, and understands how to make leverage inside. Hip to hip, you're not covering him if you're hip to hip.
Tyler Dunn takes this face-off for Hopkins. Gobriel slips. Now the wings get involved. Dunn looked like he had it. Big ground ball still out of the attack box. Now it's a free-for-all.
Virginia's got to win face-offs in this game.
Ground balls have been a staple of the Virginia program for so long. Weyer comes up with that one. Wow. Late in the season, though, especially the 2 games against Notre Dame, they really struggled. We'll get a flag against JHU. Weyer can score. He's got 7 goals this season to go along with 5 assists. Schellenberger steps into one. Erlin didn't make the save. That was deflected, loose around the crease, and now Erlin gobbles it. And Virginia will send a man-up unit, which has been unstoppable of late. 12 of their last 19, 3 for 3 in round 1. 59% on the season, second only behind Notre Dame.
3-1/1 minute 60.
That's Melendez.
Nothing good ever happens with one hand on your stick. This is just a, right there, he gets him on the thigh.
I'm going to let that one go. Shuts. Schellenberger, rip and score. His first of the game. He had 4 to go along with 2 helpers in the regular season matchup. This feels a little different than Denver-Syracuse,
I was going to
doesn't
say, and this is Cavalier lacrosse, okay? They want to set a fast pace. They want action. They got speed, they got athletes, they got a playmaker's mentality. And if you're Chase Erlin, that is okay. You shake that one off. Lars Tiffany trying to get organized. It's a little too easy, though. You'd want to somehow impact Schellenberger's feet, vision, or hands. Hopkins does none of the three. It's an easy step-down shot from, 10 yards with a decent angle? No goalie in the world's making that save to the offside pipe, and you see the precision of Schellenberger.
Number 2 pick in the PLL draft, 3-time Tewaaraton Award finalist. I had a coach text me this week. He said the hardest part about defending Schellenberger, there's not a spot that you can drive him to. He's comfortable everywhere.
Ambidextrous. You see the range. He can shoot it from 13 and in. Can deal with defensive pressure around the net in terms of having a tight cradle, and then his vision and skills. He can do a little bit of everything, and I think that's why he's an absolute future all-star in the PLL.
Face-off violation on Virginia. Hopkins back to work. Melendez has had the hot hand. Degnon's got a goal too. Lefty shooter, dangerous from that right wing. His left hand is free. Plays it to the wing. Behind the cage, Angelus. Kastner out to meet him. 6'7" against 5'9". Bauer setting the pick. Angelus getting loose, goal line extended. Angelus with a look, and he missed it too high. The long wingspan of Kastner altered the shot.
Virginia in their man-to-man defense. Hopkins with their motion offense, okay? It's a positionless scheme. A lot of movement with the ball and off the ball. And matchups will often change because of how many picks and screens the Blue Jays set.
Degnon again. Missed the cage. Defended by Whalen.
Wow, Morris in the goal there, just lunging at that shot. He needs to sit down and be patient and simmer down, okay? A goalie's got to use his adrenaline on game day to his advantage.
Morris, a redshirt freshman from the Baltimore area, played at the Gilman School. Angelus has his man hung up. Doesn't matter, Kastner recovers, another shot by Peshko. It misses the cage, only 4 to shoot. And the Blue Jays will sub out their offensive middies. Bauer, I'm not sure he knows, now he knows, okay. Looked like Bauer was ready to attack, it wasn't there. Shot clock violation. Johns Hopkins opened on a 4-0 run. Virginia scored the last 2. And Matthew Nunes was pulled for Kyle Morris. Hopkins has not scored since then. They have not put a shot on goal since then. Slippage by Fulton.
This is where Nunes has been pretty good in the clearing game, and Morris a little less experienced.
They get it over. You got to get it over the midfield line before the shot clock hits 60.
Virginia had some clearing issues last week in the first quarter against the St. Joe's 10-man ride. And when I say it was the best 10-man ride that I've ever seen, it was by far the best 10-man ride. If you're a coach out there, you get some St. Joe's tape, break it down and see how they work. The wings up and down, and they put their big LSM in the middle of the field, and he roams side to side. A brilliant ride.
Ryan Colsey has scored a goal in 9 straight. Hunter Jaronski on him. Schellenberger playing hangman. Erlin edges out of the cage. Shelley changing direction. Feeds to Cormier, who misses wide. Peyton Cormier last week, 8 goals. Nobody in Division I men's lacrosse history has scored more. He also broke Virginia's single-season goals record and denied that time by Erlin, who's right there.
Big pump fake and a reshot by Cormier. Erlin kind of flinched, but when he landed, he was in a good position.
Bodies collide. That's going to be on Hopkins. No, it'll be on Virginia. Looked like they were going to let Virginia play. Jaronski and Schellenberger, tectonic plates meeting.
Tell you, in the first round and quarterfinals that so far have been defined by very few penalties. In a game that could feature a lot of action, all of a sudden we're seeing a lot of flags.
Slash, 1 minute, 80.
And this will favor Johns Hopkins if this game is ref tight. They're calling that a slash right there.
All right, hey, so I'll give you a 30.
Schellenberger doesn't get flagged often. Both teams have scored with the extra man.
The challenge for Coach Tiffany now is going to be to convince these guys, hey, we got to rein it in a tad.
Yeah, the fear is Degnon's outside shot. 21 career man-up goals.
Big lefty, top of the formation right now.
Shoot!
Hopkins 2 for 2 with the extra man. And the Blue Jays extend to a 5-2 lead. Russell Melendez, a first quarter hat trick.
First quarter, Melendez deserves a lot of credit. He is at a subpar season. Pete Millman, the head coach, just trusting and staying with him. And all through it, he's never really forced it. I don't think he's ever played selfishly or out of the scheme. And today things are coming his way, and he's made the most of it. That was a gorgeous, gorgeous little one-touch. The Marquette transfer, played locally down by Annapolis at Spalding. We'll get nothing in like it, Anish.
Hopkins won the face-off battle in the first meeting against Virginia. Cavaliers didn't have Gobriel. Whalen shoots. Erlin. That's the difference in the game right now. Erlin's on his game. Virginia has already pulled its goalie. McDermott the other way. His skip pass knocked down by the 6'7" Colossus Cole Kastner. He cyclones away from pressure. Kastner up ahead to Schellenberger. It's off his stick. Millen scoops.
Wow, Schellenberger's fired up today.
He played with emotion in that Hopkins game too. Had some goals late. Millen steps into one. Penthouse Parm. McCabe Millen.
Range from the freshman. Schellenberger start. Watch the effort of number one right here. Boom. Man ball. Little give and go. You don't show Millen respect. You could hear the celebration from up top. I mean, that is the spirit and that is the nature of this Cavalier team.
Johns Hopkins 9 championships in its storied history at the Division I NCAA level. Overall, 44 national titles when you go pre-NCAA. Virginia's won 7 in the NCAA era, including 2019, 2021 under Lars Tiffany. Cavaliers' first NCAA championship came in 1972. They beat Johns Hopkins. Pete Eldridge had 4 goals, including the game winner in OT. Four goals. That game didn't go into OT. Just 4 goals, including the game winner.
Man-to-man defense. It's a double team early, slide early type organization.
Colsey to Millen. Feeds the crease. Turned away.
Good job down the backside.
In the crease.
In the crease, not pushed in the crease, in the crease. Excellent help defense where they flow to the ball and then they get down the backside to protect that back post.
Virginia's getting looks. Hopkins has hit some shots from the outside, and now the Cavaliers in their 10-man ride. Goalie is out of the cage. Forced turnover. Here comes Yeager, who's pressing the other way. Schellenberger.
That's going to be an issue for Johns Hopkins if they can't clear against Virginia's 10-man. In Charlottesville, they did a wonderful job. They sent some deep balls to Angelus, who's parked in the center middle of the ride behind Kastner.
Schutz had 2 goals in round 1. He's a handful. On the invert, trail checked away. Schutz goes down, and we're going to get a loose ball push on the Blue Jays. with 99 seconds to go in this first quarter.
Question mark for Virginia today will be their depth and their depth of scoring from the midfield specifically. They do not have a viable second midfield.
Schellenberger wants Cormier, can't handle the pass. Off the scramble, shuts, and it's picked up by Carson Brown.
And so if this game does go the full 60 minutes and Hopkins is rotating 9 different offensive midfielders, that may be an advantage in the fourth quarter.
Morris retreats into goal. He's about a 9.5-man ride. He hedged out. The Blue Jays can essentially hold for a final shot here. 5-3. A couple of man-up goals in this first quarter. Short leash for Matthew Nunes, as we mentioned, and he was pulled after giving up 4. Virginia goalies only have 1 save. Chase Erlin, meanwhile, 5 out of 8. Bauer over to Collison. 20 seconds to go in the quarter. Collison strolls down the alley, plays it back to Angelis. Collison setting the pick. Trying to work a 2-man game. Kastner stays with Angelis. Collison inside roll, body save Morris. Bauer whiffs on the rebound. Virginia's got it, 2 seconds, 1 second. And that takes us to the end of quarter number 1. Fast start for the Blue Jays. The band got some work in early. A 4-0 blitz to open the game by Johns Hopkins. Russell Melendez with a first quarter hat trick. Virginia pulls its goalie. But the Cavaliers find a response. They scored 3 of the final 4, 5-3 after 15. Winner to the national semifinals. It's a storied postseason history between Hopkins and Virginia. 1972, the Cavaliers' first national championship. They beat Johns Hopkins. They met in the final again in 1980. Jeff Harris, the game-winning goal in double overtime, giving Hopkins a three-peat. And then in 2003, that was the Tillman Johnson show. Virginia beat Hopkins 9-7. One of the greatest goalie performances over championship weekend that you will see. Peter Milliman in season 4 came over from Cornell looking to lead Hopkins back to the promised land and championship weekend for the first time since 2015. Lars Tiffany has already resurrected the Virginia program. They now expect to be at championship weekend every year.
A semifinalist last year, an overtime loss to Notre Dame. Let's go back to that 03 championship game. A game played at the old M&T Bank Stadium on grass, and it rained for like 3 days prior to championship. It rained really heavy on the in-between day, mostly on Sunday, and so they had the kitty litter spread all along the field, and the field was all mud, and that allowed Virginia to play that zone defense behind Tillman Johnson. And really changed, the weather changed the strategy of that day.
They beat UMass in the semifinals that year, and Hopkins put a blowtorch to Syracuse that year, 19-8 in the semis. Peshko over to Collison. 40 seconds into quarter number 2. Bauer gets free from Yeager. Schroeder came over to help.
Hopkins' offense looks sharp today, but they finished up that Lehigh game on a positive note.
Nice move, Morris to save. Now, one thing you notice, Quint, you watch Kastner play defense. Even when he's beat, he is so long, he's not really beaten.
6'7", 215-pounder. As you said, he's going to play college basketball at Stanford. What stands out about Cole, he's the fastest Cavalier in the 40-yard dash. They time him, with the beams in their indoor facility in the offseason. To think about it, a 6'7" guy being your fastest player in the 40-yard dash. If you said 80 to 100, maybe 200 meters, I'd say, yeah, I get it. But he can accelerate, too, for a guy 6'7".
That's why he's playing basketball in the ACC next year. Hopkins creates the turnover. Kilrain picks it up. Brown cruising across the equator.
Virginia's offense outside of Schellenberger, Cormier, Schutz. There's just not many layers there. And this is a unit, they're good, but they haven't improved over the course of the season. And so there's some vulnerability if Hopkins is buttoned up defensively. And that's been a consistent theme for the Blue Jays. Even when they've lost games in the second half of the season, they still played fairly good defense.
Hopkins running some of its second line midfielders. They have enviable midfield depth. Grimes, Hunter, Chauvet, McDermott out there. Angelis inverts from up top. Kastner still stays with him. McDermott.
This is the motion offense.
Shot clock inside of 20. Grimes working on a short stick. Melendez gives it back up. Angelis. Chauvet missing the cage. Hunter Chauvet, a freshman out of Ohio.
Shoots it the second he steps off the bus. I mean, this kid will let it fly always from anywhere. And you better be set and eyes like an eagle if you're a goalie.
Morris got a piece of this one.
This game is being reffed a little tighter than Virginia is used to.
Flag down.
Okay, it's being reffed. This is a late hit after the shot, and it's another penalty on the Cavaliers.
That's a minute foul.
And this could swing this game to Johns Hopkins.
Blue Jays 2 for 2 with the extra man. That's the difference in the game. Melendez scored both.
So somewhere in between playing fast and ferocious and furious and being quote-unquote unleashed, Virginia's got to reel it in and stay out of the penalty box. Not easy to do.
Gagnon has been a man-up sniper in his career. Chauvet, who opened his Hopkins career with back-to-back hat tricks.
Better find 40 and white.
Peshko got free, couldn't handle the pass. Loose in the crease, Morris clamps down.
Nice job by Chismar, 34 in blue.
Weyer the other way. Still 30 seconds on this Hopkins man up. You mentioned it earlier in the regular season meeting, one of the key plays late, Jacob Angelis scoring a man down goal for Johns Hopkins.
The penalty, that is late. It's a good pulse or two late.
We are back to even strength, so Virginia's got about 40 seconds here to run their offense. Skip pass, Schutz, too high. Schutz, an all-ACC midfielder, 6'3", 220.
Great look. Colsey left-handed out of the box down the alley, just sliced the defense in half.
Schutz again, over to Boyden. He gets the step, missed the cage. Schellenberger with the backup. We haven't seen Virginia run a lot of its second midfield so far. Schellenberger against Scott Smith, terrific matchup. McCabe Millen, less than 10 to shoot. Millen, bounce shot, Erlin is there. Now the outlet, dangerous pass. Virginia gets it back, Schroeder. Millen the other way.
That's a stinger now, you got to defend.
Millen had 5 goals in his Virginia debut in the game against Michigan. Son of 2 Hall of Famers, Mark Millen and Aaron Brown. Cormier trail checked, and that is a souvenir that bounces off the track. There's spectators out there, watch out.
A lot of little ones too, as we got a timeout by Hopkins. They're just playing too much defense. Erlin with the long outlet. You got to weigh risk and reward at all times when you're a goalie throwing your outlets. If you've just played 60 minutes and fought off the shot clock to gain possession, you can't afford to turn it over. portions of 3 of the 4 games. And I got to tell you, between our studio work with Rachel and Drew and the game coverage with our announcers, the presentation of the women's game, man, it was awesome. I was so impressed with the way Florida took it to Maryland and jumped up on the Terps right away.
Question mark from Millen. Little punctuation by the freshman, McCabe Millen. And it's 5-4 since the goalie change. Virginia on a 4-1 spurt.
Unassisted, this will be a left-handed move upfield and a seamless jump shot right-handed. Question mark, spin to the outside, and man, he paints that here corner. Erlin turning as if he can't believe what happened, and it doesn't get any better than that. Millen was always a big game hunter when he was a high school baller at McDonough, and he's continuing that trend today.
I've really enjoyed over the last few weeks getting to talk to him. He's a huge, huge New York Yankees fan. So that's the first topic of conversation that comes up. How do you manage to do it?
He's got elements of that. That move was directly out of his dad's arsenal.
McDermott, Angeles beats Morris. Hopkins with a quick counter strike.
Understanding what's important and how to win a game when you're playing against Virginia. Pick your spots to run. McDermott, good job. Smashes the far post. Angeles has been so consistent as a quarterback, a distributor, a guy with great wheels, game sense. That times he shows you the range. Virginia's going to give you opportunities to run, and you got to capitalize when they do.
Yeah, the difference for Virginia this year, while Gobriel and Colucci have been steady at the face-off X when healthy, they don't have a Petey LaSala.
The Virginia team last year, I mean, they put a handful of guys into the PLL. And Xander Dixon, 61 goals. Thomas McConvey, Jeff Connor, Peter Garno, midfielder, Zinn.
Now Virginia is going to be called for failure to clear. Couldn't get it across before that shot clock hit 60. Morris retreats into the cage. Chance here for Hopkins. Degnan with the left hand, missed the cage. It'll stay with the Blue Jays. This is where you miss Matthew Nunes. He's struggling as a shot stopper right now. His outlet passing is right up there at the very top with all the goalies in Division I.
Yeah, and he has the mobility, the wheels, and the athletic ability to make a play. If they do press ride, he can beat his man. He can get the ball to safety.
Dylan Bauer using the Peshko pick on a bounce to Angeles. Peshko had 4 goals against Virginia. He's been a little feast or famine this year.
And if I'm Hopkins, I ride letting Kyle Morris carry that ball up the field. That's a great timeout.
Timeout, Peter Milliman.
Great timeout, because that was going to get ugly. Not only was Degnan going to turn it over, but Virginia was going to have a run out. And somehow Degnan keeps that in his cross. In there in Loftus, when Lou Holtz was kind enough to give us the field.
What was the score of that game?
A lot to a little, but Eamon McEnany, I threw a buddy pass to Petro, and Eamon blew up Dave Petro.
Wow.
Crushed him, crushed him.
That text is coming in about 30 seconds.
We had the greatest time in that road trip. It'll be in the book. Hopkins controlling this game, Anish.
Up 6-4.
Just think it's their type of game. They're capitalizing on Virginia mistakes.
Peshko missed the cage, working on Will Erdman, the freshman D-midi.
They've been opportunistic and with the power play and in transition, and Chase Erlin's kind of winning the goalie battle.
With the shot clock winding down, Hopkins dumps it in the corner. And all that being said, scoreboard says 2-goal lead, and a 2-goal lead in this game feels different than it did in the previous one today.
It does. Things can change fast in a game like this.
Earlier today, Denver beat Syracuse 10-8. Pios basically played keep away for most of the fourth quarter. Syracuse got to within 2. They were down 10-5 going into the quarter. Denver hangs on. Matt Brown, first year as a head coach, 18th season on the staff, headed to championship weekend after taking over for the legend Bill Tierney.
Denver winning a title in 2015. If Hopkins holds on and wins, championship weekend has the same 4 teams as it did in 2015. Bracketed the same.
That Denver Notre Dame semifinal in 2015 is an all-timer. Millen, and we're going to get an illegal pick on McIntosh. So Virginia runs at second midfield, and it's a turnover. McIntosh, who only has 2 goals this year, but had 6 on 7 shots in a game against the Blue Jays last year. Hopkins puts one on the empty net.
It's got to be Virginia ball.
And it's going to be Virginia ball. So the 10-man ride. We saw last week when Lehigh did it. Scott Smith scored from midfield.
Saw yesterday when Marco Napolitano from Notre Dame, the assassin, struck from 60 yards. You got to get to. Oh!
Hopkins wins it back on the ride. Morris gets back into goal. Angeles has the short stick Chismar. Now Angeles with some space. Crease feed. Slam dunk Melendez. Number 4 for the senior.
Oh, you're going to love this. Hopkins fans loving life right now. They can taste it. They're on the verge of something big. It all starts with a yard sale. Scrappiness, the trail check. Woo, 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 woo. Helicopter City, Degnan. And then Angeles draws 2, kicks it down low. Melendez having a monster day, perhaps his best day of the season.
Air Melendez.
He's got 4 goals.
Angeles, the team's leading scorer, and the top assist man in the Big Ten this year with 2 helpers. Face-off violation, Hopkins. Virginia ball, still plenty of time to go in this first half. Blue Jays opened the game on a 4-0 blitz. Virginia pulled goalie Matthew Nunes, who only made 1 save, and replaced him with Morris. Millen's had a big first half. He's matched up with Patrick Deans, the LSM. Millen snakes around the crease. Schellenberger, who's been quiet of late.
That's a great, great set. Millen drawing the double team on goal line extended. They get the ball reversal. Finishes up with Shelley.
Millen's got 3 points, 2 goals and a helper. Millen gets top side, too high. Back up to Virginia.
Cormier's being face guarded inside, so he has not gotten the same amount of touches. Bo Zulik, 44, and White's got that assignment.
Cormier 0 for 4 today.
Hopkins likes their matchups on Schellenberger, Cormier, and Millen.
Boyden wanted no part of Smith. Instead, it's Schellenberger with the switch. He's got the short stick matchup. Hesitation move, skip pass, using the sub game. Colsey, face dodge, shot offline. I think Erlin's got this, he does. Peter Milliman said we got to be careful against Virginia's sub game. They tried to use it there. Virginia almost had a scoring chance, and a heady play by Chase Erlin, closest to the ball when it goes out, awarded possession on a shot. Now the Virginia ride to 10-man. The net is open. Morris Mills back in. Number 10 in white, Brandon Avilas, the Syracuse transfer.
Jay's using 5 or 6 short stick defensive midfielders right from the get-go after that Denver loss in week 1 this year when they ran out of gas late against the Pioneers. Startling upset. But the good news coming from that is they realized they had to play more defensive personnel. They all share their shifts. It's worked brilliantly.
Melendez with 4 over to Grimes. He goes to work on Erdman. Melendez to Angeles. Degnan tries to get to the left hand. Morris saw it, saves it.
Degnan, a better shooter with his feet set.
Wayer's a threat if they don't pick him up. Feeds it to the wing. One more. That either hit the goalie or hit the pipe. I think it hit the goalie. Didn't hear a ping. Smith in traffic, lost it, comes back to Virginia, and we're going to get a slash on Hopkins. Flag down. Unsettled. Schellenberger waits, retreats. That shot blocked. Yeager. And Virginia will go man up, where they have been surgical of late.
Erlin is on. He has seen everything, making good decisions, rooted and grounded in the goal, and his top hand.
Slash, 1 minute.
Yeah, this was unnecessary. The retaliation will always get you caught. Watch it. He turns it over. He's probably a little ticked off. He gets slashed and then comes right back and two-hand Schellenberger, which could have been non-releasable. That type of retaliation deserves a non-releasable penalty.
Virginia in this NCAA tournament, a perfect 4 for 4 with the extra man. 13 of their last 20 overall. Good look there for Millen. Cormier in his career, 24 man-up goals.
He's parked right in the middle. Got a two-man crease.
There's Cormier, Erlin with a piece. The Hopkins faithful applauds.
Piece or pipe, I'm not sure.
Millen. Boyden, bang. McCabe Millen, the freshman, shining bright here on this Sunday in Towson. 4 points in the opening half.
Penalties get punished in high-level lacrosse. Grad student out of Tufts in Toronto. He is crafty. Watch how he improves his angle here, and he just turns the corner. He keeps going, making that big swooping move, curling around defensive pressure.
Second goal for Boyden, second assist for Millen. Now Lars Tiffany telling us the first meeting against Hopkins, McCabe Millen was sick the week of that game, just wasn't himself, and he's making a point in his first half. This will be his team next year, especially on the offensive side. It's his offense. Cormier's gone, Schellenberger's gone, Boyden's gone. He'll have the keys.
Been an ideal first year for Millen. Playing mostly attack, occasional shifts now at the midfield to create matchups, but he's been able to apprentice under Connor Schellenberger, and that's going to be so valuable going forward. Work ethic, study skills, game sense, work ethic, tenacity. Like Connor exemplifies like every good trait you'd want in a player.
Lighthearted moment during the ACC tournament, talking to Millen, Schellenberger, and Cormier. Millen mentioned how he used to watch Schellenberger's highlights in high school, and then Peyton Cormier jumped in and said, and Schellenberger used to watch mine.
They are old. They are old for the class, but that's commonplace. This may be the last group where that happens.
Schellenberger, feet in front of the empty net. Point blank, Cormier, rare miss.
Did Erlin make that save? Did that hit a post?
I think that hit a post. He wasn't
so far away. I don't know if he gets back in time.
At least we can see the jersey numbers in this game.
Virginia wearing their playoff orange helmets that they reserved for the postseason in May. Left side of your screen. Nah, looks like it was going wide.
Cormier 0 for 5. Minute to go, first half. Hopkins by 2. When they played in March, Virginia had a 2-goal lead at halftime. Blue Jays Came back and closed the game on a 6-2 run to win. About a 12-second game clock, shot clock differential. Angeles looking to shake Kastner.
Virginia shorting Degnan, something they've done a little bit.
Ryan Evans gives it up to Angeles. He inverts. Gets free from Kastner, just didn't have an angle. That hit the pipe. Resets the shot clock, but Virginia has the ball, 10 seconds to go. Terenzi.
That's okay. That's okay with the clock.
And time expires. Exciting first half of lacrosse, back and forth. Both teams traded some haymakers early. Hopkins landed the first round flurry. 17th postseason meeting. This game, it's been two players who have dominated in the first half. Russell Melendez for the Blue Jays, McCabe Millen, the freshman for Virginia.
Yeah, and I think from an opportunistic standpoint, I'm impressed with the way Johns Hopkins is playing, because Virginia's trying to heat him up and play fast, and Hopkins is saying, yeah, we can handle that, we can play fast. And Russell Melendez, who's had quote-unquote, you know, a subpar season production-wise, he's stayed with it all season long, and he's making the most of his opportunities today. He's got 4 goals early, 2 from the outside, 2 from the inside.
Meanwhile, McCabe Millen, 2-2, 2 goals, 2 assists.
Very aggressive mindset, and for a freshman, he's playing like a senior today. Taking it to the rack for himself. Fearless from mid-range. He wants it, and he's going for it. Question mark? Like his dad, Mark. 7-5. Erlin +1 in saves. He's got 7. Virginia after making that goalie change.
Kyle Morris came in for Matthew Nunes when it was 4-0 Hopkins. Noah Chismar breaks the ground ball. Virginia will go on offense to begin this third quarter. New Shroff, alleged groundhog killer, Quint Kessenich. 4th of 4 quarterfinal games as we wrap things up in Towson and get our final national semifinalist.
Showed you a picture of the little varmint.
I said alleged. I said alleged.
I scared him to the point where he didn't come back.
Here's Connor Schellenberger, 7 points in round 1, 6 points back in March against the Blue Jays. Feeds Cormier right down the middle, and no backup for Virginia. Chase Erlin's got it.
Cormier last week, just an epic performance, 8 goals on 15 shots, setting the NCAA all-time goals record. No one scored more goals. Today, he's got a big bagel, and that is about as good of a look as it gets, right down the pike, and misses the net entirely.
Hopkins trying to handle the ride, and they're able to do so.
Can Virginia win this game if Peyton Cormier is held scoreless?
Careless error.
Those will sting it. You know what I like about Schellenberger, 1 in blue, is the way he pushes and pulls within a game. You know, he lets the game come to him, and then other times he knows when to assert his skills on this game. I love his feel for that.
First midfield for Virginia, Colsey, Schutz, and Boyden. Millen against Kilrain, freshman on freshman. These two teams generally play each other every year. That's going to be a fun battle over the next few years. Virginia coughs it up.
Numbers trailer.
They've got a trailer. Comes back to Degnan, his sweet spot, and he missed the cage. Scored from there earlier today.
Coach Tiffany down to the 10-yard line, running up and down the sideline.
Lars Tiffany in the postseason at Virginia, 12-2. Johns Hopkins season ended in the quarterfinals last year in Annapolis, losing to eventual champion Notre Dame.
They played well in that game. It was kind of a non-threatening, close game. They hung around and made Notre Dame take care of business. And to the Irish's credit, they were mature and handled the moment. Hopkins was a 2-goal differential, I think, at the end of the day. All the production in East back from that team this year.
Yep. They return as much talent as anybody nationally. Bauer against Yeager, picked up from Harvard in the offseason. Midfield's been a little quiet today for the Blue Jays. Angelis and Melendez have picked up the slack.
They get into this motion offense.
Degnan with the shot clock at 5.
And at times, I don't know if they're going slow because that's the directive from the bench to give our defense a rest, or I don't know if they're going slow. It's hard to tell because they can't gain dodging traction. You know what I mean by that? And so it's just this circular, endless motion and like, okay, what are we accomplishing here? And because I know at times the green light's not on for them. They are trying to kill some clock.
But we have seen...
But that would be the complaint about this offense, especially in the second half of the season. They just have not found that next layer of growth after beating Virginia March 2nd. That's the high water mark of the season. I thought their offense really sputtered late in the year.
They seemed to come to life against Lehigh when that game got fast. When they started playing fast, they forced Lehigh out of their comfort zone a little bit as well. Here's Will Corey, second midfield, plays it back to Millen. Cormier still without a goal, now 0 for 8.
Low to low, Erlen read it.
Erlen's been on his game.
No level change, no dice.
8 saves for the former Cornell goalie. Hopkins floats it downfield. Morris gets back into the cage.
They did a great job in that regular season meeting in Charlottesville of clearing against the 10-man.
Sun's back out for another cameo.
Heat favors Hopkins. A, they got the lead. B, they have more midfield depth.
Been a rainy, cloudy weekend in Baltimore. Preakness weekend. McDermott swivels down the alley. Angelis changes directions on Kastner. Pick doesn't do any good. Now Grimes. Bounce shot save. Kyle Morris.
Nicely done by Morris and a good rebound control.
Weyer has 7 goals this season.
Okay, no numbers here, but can Virginia pin Hopkins' offensive personnel on the field? We've got some offensive middies stuck on.
Schellenberger hands free on the run. Deposit slip.
Morris with not only the save, but the clean outlet. Watch the pick at the top of this move right here. Smith's got to go top side. McDermott doesn't drop step and give it any help. And watch how just this subtle pick right there creates a different picture defensively. Zulik hesitant to come off Cormier. Schellenberger, whoop, hits the gas, accelerate out of that move, but a really nice pick in the early offensive phase for the Cavs.
Gabriel and Callahan will match wits.
There's transition, which is right away. It's 4-on-3s, 5-on-4s. There's early offense, and Virginia's been very good at that this year. That's the sub phase.
Callahan had it, lost it. We're going to get a loose ball hold against Hopkins. Back to Virginia. Chance to tie.
What Virginia does is they stay on here now. Whalen stays on, the Fogo stays on. They're both inside, and that puts the other team at some discomfort. You see Callahan.
Now a chance in the sub game. Hopkins a little late getting on. Virginia's got something, and they make them pay using the sub game. It's Colsey from the outside. Virginia had essentially a man advantage. That's what concerned Peter Milliman this week.
Little change of momentum. Hopkins loses the face-off, and they got all sorts of personnel caught on defense. Callahan runs off late. And that allows a 6-on-5 break out of the substitution box, okay? Finding layers for your offense, whether it's transition, sub-game, settled sets, extra man, or off the ride. Great teams use all of those at their disposal to score.
Brand new ball game, and we get a face-off violation on Hopkins, and now it's Virginia pressing with the momentum. Virginia's won 6 straight face-offs.
You feel it. You really feel it.
They were down 4-0 in an eye blink. Pulled goalie Matthew Nunes, and Virginia's now pulled to even. Here comes Schellenberger. Snakes around the cage. Out of the box, Millen, save. Erlin, rebound loose, ball in front. Cormier whiffs on the putback. Virginia was in the crease. Blue Jay ball.
Relentless pressure by Virginia. They're dictating the terms of engagement. They keep Colucci, 81, on there, and it causes some havoc.
Dangerous pass, it's picked off. Prestipino. Hopkins having trouble with the ride. Terenzi to Schellenberger.
No numbers.
Millen now running out of the box, jogging. Millen and Boyden down the stretch have been interchangeable, attack and midfield. McIntosh in there. Millen spins it back to X. Boyden the Tufts transfer. Virginia looking to take advantage of the 5th Blue Jay failed clear.
Hopkins double, aggressive.
Millen, Cormier, not much on it. Still looking for his first goal, his first point. Terenzi dancing from X, two-way midi. He's battled injury this season.
Yeah, I like this matchup. Terenzi super fast.
Plays it to Schellenberger, skip pass, Millen, step down, save, Erlin. Virginia was looking for its first lead. Another dangerous pass. Deans pushes it to the sideline. Angelis turns it over. Another failed clear for Hopkins. Oh, as a slam dunk. Erlin, point blank, turns him away. "11 saves for Chase Erlin, none bigger.
Highway robbery, standing on his head.
Smith fires almost. He hit one last week.
Is this game
Boy, this is going with trading haymakers.
This is great. Tell you, Hopkins is going to have to possess here and take a deep breath. I mean, you think of that Boyden shot. Pump, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3, stays with it.
Blue Jays 9 of 15 clearing the ball, something they did so well in the first meeting against Virginia. Bauer against Yeager, short stick matchup, can't get top side. Melendez, nothing on the shot.
Virginia owning the carpet in this quarter.
Virginia's owning the middle of the field, which is where they're the most dangerous. Schellenberger can orchestrate from anywhere. He's got the ball. Hopkins not falling for it.
From a personnel standpoint, as I said earlier, Virginia's not deep in the midfield, so you got a bunch of guys who are going to have to double shift.
Schellenberger using the pick, shoots on the run. Millen the backup. And you mentioned Virginia's second midfield, their traditional second midfield hasn't been productive. Their tertiary and secondary scoring as Millen backhands it often comes from their rope unit. Ben Weyer off of face-off wins, unsettled situations.
Chismar running from D to O. Yeager running from D to O.
Terenzi.
So I worry about what kind of fitness Virginia will play with in the last 10 minutes of this game. Look at this. This looks like the little Tykes at half between the games. Saw a bunch of 8-year-olds out there scrapping it pretty good. Fans were on their feet. It was unbelievable action.
Loose ball push on Virginia. Hopkins in this quarter 0 for 4 shooting with 5 turnovers.
Towson Town, Lutherville, Timonian, rec leagues. These are some of the oldest rec programs in the country. Date back to the 1950s.
Sun is out, great crowd on hand.
Great crowd, both sides, Anish.
Featuring two of the bluest of blue bloods in lacrosse. Weyer had his stick on it. Ball's hitting the carpet a lot for Hopkins. Melendez chased by Kastner. He wants no part of Cole Kastner. Still plenty of time to shoot.
Great feet on this.
Angeles has the matchup. He's got the shorty. Dancing with Jaeger. Angeles draws the slide. Degnan, yes sir!
Snaps a scoreless streak for the Jays. Angeles is in his comfort zone with this matchup. He's got the fancy footwork and the great balance. Degnan loops around the formation. The lefty with his stick to the outside. Virginia doubles. Don't know why, but that's a turn and rake. Degnan. As the weather's perked up, we've got monster crowds. The game's in a good place right now, I think, with the rules changes, with the shot clock. Video review. It's a fast and fun game.
Whoever wins this game, Hopkins, Maryland is one of the most storied, if not the most storied rivalry in the sport. Virginia, Maryland, over the last 4 or 5 years has kind of become the postseason matchup du jour. And there's history there as well.
And history between Notre Dame
and Denver.
As the two preeminent programs west of the Mississippi.
And that'll be a reprisal.
Is Notre Dame west of the Mississippi?
You know, now you're testing my geography. I think it's east.
I think it is east.
You're good, Smith.
Cormier couldn't catch it clean.
West of the Ohio River. West of the Allegheny.
Well, that's Pittsburgh, right? The Monongahela, is that the other one?
Confluence, that's right. Collison's been a little quiet today for Hopkins, 16 in white. He's been a man of big moments, only a sophomore. He's gotten better late in games.
There's Jimmy Ayers. He's a freshman, had 4 goals against ACC competition this year. Look at the move, the spin, everything but the shot. Melendez the backup. Degnan from a sweet spot, ouch. Fulton blocked it on the ricochet to Virginia and Jaeger. Millen, there's the burst. Millen to the cage, diving! They wave it off in the goal mouth.
Interesting. His dive was through the plane of the goal mouth. I'm not sure he ever actually landed in the goal mouth. He might have gone over the goal mouth.
That is a play that you can challenge if you're Virginia. There's a flag down, a yellow flag, not a red one. Bounce shot, score, Peshko. A 2-goal advantage for Hopkins.
Lars Tiffany's 10 yards out on the field. Hopkins bench streams out onto the field.
Good. Blue number 1, unnecessary, 1 minute.
And the penalty on Schellenberger.
Let's watch McCabe Millen, and you make the judge. Is he in the interior cone? He tries to launch, yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Any part of him lands in the goal mouth, no
he
goal.
Absolutely is. I thought he may have cleared the cone, but that's a great call. This is a little bit of a screen right here. Watch this ball spin.
Some English.
Well, you know, Morris has got to move his feet there and finish that up with his body so that if his stick does miss it, he's going to get a part of a body. And now we got a critical face-off.
It's a 3-on-2 face-off. Advantage Hopkins. 1 minute EMO.
What you don't see from a side angle that a lot of these shots on the carpet when guys go 3/4 arm or side arm and the field is crowned, there is a kick, there is a spin.
They say Virginia touched it before it got into the attack box.
Jay's answering after they lost momentum and went scoreless for nearly 17 minutes.
Off of face-off. When the ball's in the restraining area, only the wings of the face-off and the face-off man can touch the ball. EMO Garrett Degnan, and Hopkins has answered the bell. Virginia scored 3 straight to tie the game at 7. Blue Jays respond with 3 of their own to go back up 3, and they are now 3-4 with the extra man.
Historically, when Johns Hopkins has a national caliber contender type team, they've always been good at the extra man and man down scenarios. They win the inches. Double cut inside, it's a scissors cut. Peshko comes to the right post, Degnan comes to the left post. That's something, if you plug in the tape, you see it all the time. And that's what's shocking, that Virginia actually lets this bread and butter play score so easily. It's just a double cut. Peshko right-handed, Degnan scrapes off of him and cuts left-handed.
Meanwhile, Jacob Angelis is taking over this game. He has had a hand in 6 of the 10 Hopkins goals, including the last 5. He scored to make it 6-4. He has assisted on the last 4. Face-off won by the Blue Jays.
Now,
Tyler Dunn.
Now you're going to be patient here. 75 on the shot clock, 126. You'd love to end the quarter up 3 or 4.
Kyle Morris, the redshirt freshman, in goal for Virginia. Matthew Nunes was pulled early in the first quarter.
12-second differential on clock and shot clock. You see Hopkins is just going to sit this one out. Weight it down. Good ending to the quarter, assuming something crazy happens here.
Virginia used its ride to get back into the game. Hopkins able to weather the storm. Now the big difference today, it's been Blue Jay man-up unit and goalie play.
The attack, Degnan, Melendez, and Angelis, by far the point producers.
They've outplayed the Virginia unit of Schellenberger, Millen, and Cormier. Good look there. Cormier had the 8-goal game last week. He has yet to score today. Melendez with 4. Less than 20 seconds. Peyton Cormier 0 for 10, 2 turnovers. Hopkins dumps it away. 14 seconds. Time here for Virginia. Cole Kastner, the trigger man. Less than 10.
Crash the net.
5 seconds. Terenzi looking for Cormier, couldn't thread it. We go to the fourth quarter. Are the Blue Jays back? This is a program that, going into last season, had gone through the worst 3-year stretch in program history. They get to the quarters last year. It's a team full of seniors, 5th-year and 6th-year guys like Angelis and Degnan. They want to end the journey on Memorial Day weekend. They're 15 minutes away.
4-9 in 2021, 7-9 in 2022. Back-to-back seasons without an NCAA bid.
Weyer thought about it, pinballs off the defender. I think Erlin got a piece. And that ball,
pipe,
yeah, somebody
rattles
wow.
rattles the crossbar. Last year Hopkins 12-6, a quarterfinalist. And now under the seniorship, the senior leaders. I mean, you think about culture change, coaching change.
Schellenberger to Millen, good look. Colsey the backup.
Virginia getting looks. I mean, Virginia getting looks.
Erlin's been steadfast in goal. Colsey against Joronsky. Schellenberger wants it. He had some big goals in the fourth quarter when these two played in March. Showed a lot of emotion. Millen dusts his defender, who is down. Colsey can't get it to go. Man down behind the cage. They'll blow the whistle. Uh-oh. That's Luke Martin, one of the LSM's, Brett Martin, excuse me, Brett Martin.
This guy has logged a lot of miles for this Blue Jay program. He's a senior.
Yeah, short stick D midi, he's
their top cover man at that position. He's been battling an ankle injury the second half of the season. Toughness, toughness, toughness. I don't know if this is a re-aggravation of the ankle. It looked like he may have been holding his knee as well.
Martin, another senior, All-American caliber short stick D midi, holds the Hopkins record for most caused turnovers by a short stick D midi. And yeah, Millen gets past him and he comes up. Looks like he's grabbing that knee initially.
This guy has logged a ton of miles, big time shifts. Early in his career, they would throw Brett Martin out every time they were on defense. If you're a Hopkins fan, and these fans know the game as well as anybody, they realize he's the heart and soul of the defense. He's one of the guys. He's been there in those tough days, that 4-9 season, the 7-9 season, and now he's been a part of the turnaround.
Morris is out of the cage. Virginia into its ride. Hopkins breaks the press. Peshko toward Melendez, not quite.
What makes this ride nasty is you cross the midfield line, but it's not over yet. You still got to get that next layer into the settled set, and Virginia shows, I don't know what, the patience is not the word, but they just stick with the ride, knowing that they cross the midfield line is not the time to take that exhale.
Blue Jays top 10 clearing team nationally. That's 7 failed clears. Cavaliers have missed their last 8 shots. Peyton Cormier without a goal. Schutz has his shot stopped.
All over it. That lateral explosiveness of Chase Erlin. I remember watching him in the scrimmage. Oh!
Is this another failed clear? Jays get it back. And then turn it over. Virginia speeding up Johns Hopkins. That's been the formula for the Cavaliers. Settled sets. Cavaliers haven't been great. The Blue Jays defense, give them credit. They've packed it in. You hold Virginia to 7 goals. It's impressive.
Tell you one thing about Erlin, he's delivered in the big moments, whether it was Hopkins beating Virginia in Charlottesville, Hopkins beating Maryland in front of 10,000. I remember watching him in the scrimmage, Anish, late January. Thought he was kind of average, kind of shaky. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Chase Erlin. He played in the national championship game. He's here for the big moments. And one of those moments is right now in this fourth quarter.
Careless turnover by Schellenberger. Raposo. 12 minutes to go in the fourth. Hopkins by 3.
Your D needs a break. Play complementary and winning lacrosse.
Winner gets Maryland next week. Blue Jays buying some time for a defense that's had to work. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Collison's been so good in the clutch. They're going to say that's a pass.
Offense has kind of lost their way a bit, losing their flow.
You could say that about both teams. 19 turnovers now for the Blue Jays.
So no Brett Martin. Might be a good time for Virginia to go after some of the other short stick defensive midfielders playing for Hopkins. Kind of like in football, corner is out of the game. You go after the backup corner or the nickel corner.
Cormier, it's been a struggle today. Loose ball. Shuts out of the Tempest. Now Millen, back up top. Boyden shoots it in. 10-8. A hat trick for Boyden.
It's been a frustrating day for Peyton Cormier, but give him credit for scrapping and hustling on this loose ball, and he wins this loose ball on the end line. The why behind this goal is a ground ball moved on is most key. Watch, Cormier gets it, zips it to Millen. What does he do? Eyes are up, he gets the ball out of his stick, and they're able to convert because all the Hopkins personnel chased down the loose ball on the end line, and they lost their balance defensively. Credit Cormier, great job. Millen getting that ball out of his stick, and Boyden finds a corner.
Goldwheel wins the faceoff. Virginia starting to dominate at the X. 15 out of 22. Kyle Morris has held the fort in goal for the Cavaliers after Nunes left. Player can handle for a pole. He was a star last week against St. Joe's.
He was everywhere. He made that interesting, didn't he?
We've been to many of Virginia practice. Their poles get a lot of practice and a lot of reps working with the offense in settled sets, in unsettled sets. Corey's pass deflected. Big ground ball. Schellenberger almost trips. Bodies colliding. It stayed in bounds. And Millen comes away with it. Millen had a question mark goal earlier. McIntosh. Corey, second midfield for Virginia.
Can you get anything out of this group? Be a huge plus.
McIntosh has 2 goals on the season. Skip pass, Schellenberger can't bring it in, but he can keep it in. Shot clock expiring, Schellenberger gets rid of it. That's a big defensive possession for the Blue Jays. What's ailing Virginia in settled sets right now?
The second midfield.
15 turnovers for the Cavaliers. Hopkins against the clear, against the ride. They ran out of room on the sideline. A horde of blue shirts there. That might be offsides. It is.
Virginia's offsides. They rotate up the field in their 10-man. Excellent officiating, catches that.
And the clearing game has given the Blue Jays problems. It was not the case back in March.
Get a feeling that the next goal is gigantic.
Again, if Johns Hopkins wins, they will reprise their age-old rivalry with Maryland in the national semifinals. If Virginia wins, it sets up another NCAA tournament showdown with the Terps. Melendez to the wing. 2019, Virginia's first title under Lars Tiffany. They beat Maryland in that controversial quarterfinal. Beat the Terps in the 2021 championship. Maryland steamrolled Virginia in the 2022 quarters. Grimes. Angeles, 5 assists today. Shot clock at 5, at 4, at 3. Angeles makes his move. Shot clock violation, though 1 second left. Virginia ball either way.
Cavs look tired. Jogging to their spots. Guys are starting to feel it. While it's not super hot today, it's really humid. And Virginia is not deep in the defensive midfield and offensive midfield.
They start to look at Connor Schellenberger, Peyton Cormier, possibly playing the final 7 minutes of their careers for UVA.
What do you draw up? Kevin Cassis, offensive coordinator, former Lehigh head coach. You gotta like what you've seen from McCabe Millen, 9 and blue.
This game is screeched to a halt over these last few minutes. Schellenberger with the big right hand, and the back up to Colsey.
That's an A-plus look from 14 yards, dead center. Erlin's weakness, those low corners, especially to his stick side low.
Boyden setting the pick for Colsey. Feeds the wing. Erlin, another save. He turns away shots. Outlet up ahead, a chance for the Blue Jays in transition. Angeles slips, lost it, picked up by the Cavaliers. They'll push the other way. Cormier finally gets one.
Erlin's got to be asking himself, what do I got to do here? As he's seeing a Virginia relentless upon relentless attacks. Hopkins turnovers leading to too many opportunities. Virginia off the run out. And Cormier, who makes a living close to the net, this time from distance. Long range bomb. It's a 1-goal game. Sign of wear and tear.
And remember, Brett Martin, their top short stick D-Midi, left the game with an injury. We're going to get a hold on Virginia. Blue Jay ball. Only the 8th faceoff won by Johns Hopkins. Virginia's 115. Final 6 minutes to go. Denver beat Syracuse to advance to the semis earlier today. Notre Dame and Maryland winners yesterday.
Join us in Philly next weekend. Coverage on ESPN 2. But if you've never been to championship weekend, try it out.
Bauer off the invert. Peshko posting up. Chismar stays with him. There's Degnan. Collison in these late game sets has been so critical. I don't see him out there. He is. He's setting the pick at X. Melendez, 4 goals all in the first half. Shot clock inside of 20. Weyer stick checks Bauer. And Bauer tried to play without the stick. Virginia ball, 5 minutes to go. Ben Weyer had the assist on the Cormier goal. He has been a human tempest in the first 2 games of this NCAA tournament. We mentioned earlier the great story Mike Barber wrote in the Richmond Times-Dispatch about Weyer's redemption. Was away from the team last year dealing with personal issues related to alcohol and drugs. He got himself cleaned up. He got his life back on track. And he has been as impactful a long stick as we've seen in college lacrosse this season. Millen skip pass, Schellenberger. Good look by Boyden.
Hopkins defense on the ropes. It's just late in the game when your defense gets tired, they don't get the same movement to the perimeter, so things can open up offensively.
That's where Cormier can be dangerous. Millen guarded by Zulik. They've changed that matchup. Schellenberger against the freshman Kilrain. Virginia's all-time points leader. Dumps it off to Terenzi. Cormier shovels it back. Terenzi to Schellenberger. Shot clock inside 15. Schellenberger draws the freshman Kilrain out. Millen setting the pick. Schellenberger, skip pass, Terenzi. Erlin gets a piece, fresh 60. Virginia ball.
Not seeing the fresh 60. I definitely thought he got a piece.
The official, I thought, made the signal. Now they'll talk about it.
Virginia's sideline is 100% convinced that the goaltender got a piece.
Let's see if we get another look.
Review.
They're going to take a look at it.
Now we have a reset.
All right.
Contact with the goalie or the pipes would earn Virginia a reset. This is an official review. It's not a challenge.
Now remember,
I thought
we are in the last 4 minutes of regulation.
This referee, I thought it definitely hit a stick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question.
So that'll be a fresh 60.
Honestly, I'm shocked that they had to look at it.
What this does, this essentially gives Hopkins a free timeout.
It gives Hopkins a free timeout. There's no question that hit a stick in real time.
This is a break for Peter Milliman and the Blue Jays.
Huge break. This ball's going in, too. Erlin is extremely tough on high shots. Again, if you're watching film and you're listening to our shows all season long, the places to beat him are those two low corners, especially the stick side low spot.
Contact with the goal. Reset.
And since we are under 4 minutes, no coaches' challenges from here on out.
No,
in the last 4 minutes of regulation and OT, all reviews are initiated by the officials.
That stoppage benefits Johns Hopkins and their defense immensely.
3:44 left. Virginia in that championship run in 2019. Cardiac. They won a quarterfinal game in OT against Maryland, beat Duke in double overtime in the semifinals. Connor Schellenberger may be the greatest to put on a Virginia uniform. Playing in what could be his final game.
Give him
School's
space.
all-time points leader.
Give him space. He wants this matchup.
All-time assist leader. Matched up by Hopkins' best defender, Scott Smith. They get it back to Schellenberger. Schellenberger now picked up by Jaronski, the matchup he wanted. Millen set the pick perfectly. Zulik helps. Millen, the freshman. Less than 20 to shoot. Millen gets inside, puts it through. Is he in the crease? They say it's a goal.
I thought he stepped in the crease.
We're tied at 10. Only the officials can look at this. Can't challenge under 4.
We're a good long way away. Goal counts, and they're going to look at it.
If it's good, we're tied at 10.
Blue line is the crease. 9-foot radius. That left foot. I thought that first left foot hit the crease.
He might have been in the crease. We got to slow it down.
Right there. Toes on the line. Back that up. Hopkins fans cheering as they look at the big right there.
You cannot be in the crease until the ball crosses the goal line. Now, call on the field was goal. There are folks who are probably watching this on 70-inch Ultra HD 4K televisions at home who could probably see it.
Now the second
better
foot,
than
the right foot is not in. The question is that first foot. Do you have enough evidence there, Anish?
I think that's what it comes down to.
The call on the field is a goal. Do you have enough evidence that that left foot is on the blue line?
Watch where the heel drops, and now
I
the
think
foot.
the toe is on the blue.
And Quint, I'm with you. I think he's on the line.
Right there. See, when he comes through, I definitely think he's on the line. This goal should come off the board.
This might be our best look. This might be our best look. This is...
that's close.
Wow. And again...
And then here, though, when he rolls up on his toe, when he rolls up to the top of his toe, the ball's still on his cross.
I go back to what we said in the last game.
Right
Can we conclusively say...
That looks like he's on the blue.
Again, you're saying he looks like. Are you definitive? Because that's what this call comes down to. It's overturned, not if it looks like or he might be.
It's funny,
if the officials are 100% certain, that's the only way the call is overturned, because the ruling on the field was goal.
Ironically, that similar play is why we have replay review.
Call on the field stands, the goal's good.
Wow. And the verbiage is stands, not confirmed.
Yeah.
So that shred of doubt, Quint, you said the same thing. It looks like he's in the crease. It looks like.
Not enough.
But you didn't say.
Not enough.
Is he certainly in the crease? Boy, did it look like it? Yeah, but that shred of doubt, again, when you review those goals, that's why the call on the field is so important. The goal stands. We've got a tie game with 2:59 to go.
McCabe Millen has played a sensational game today. Matt Moore-like. If you're a Virginia fan, you recognize that name. The two-quarterback model has been in effect. He's picked his spots.
3 goals, 3 assists for the freshman. Big face-off. Virginia wins it. The Cavaliers have not had a lead. They call timeout. Their bench erupts. 2:46 to go. Kevin Kessenich, their offensive coordinator, the former head coach at Lehigh, will try to draw up a play that gives Virginia its first lead of the afternoon.
They've clicked with some gorgeous stuff. The only team other than Virginia I've seen do it to such perfection this year is Albany. Scotty Marr.
It begins with Schellenberger, the captain. He's got the matchup with Aviles. Where does the help come from? Schellenberger turns the corner. Give him room. Dumps it back to Cormier. To Boyden. Another save by Erlin.
Tried the twister. Erlin was square to the shooter, and there wasn't much net.
Virginia still riding.
This is a gutsy move with an empty net.
Joronsky shakes, shuts. They'll fire onto the empty net. It's tipped, and it's picked up by Fulton. Virginia gets it back. 2 minutes to go. Both teams have timeouts. Virginia with 1, Hopkins with 2.
Wow.
A flag down, and Virginia now can burn the clock. And they're about to go man up, and this man up right now has been on fire.
Millen draws the foul by just being super aggressive, pressing the corner there at full speed.
The Virginia extra man is 5 for 5 in this NCAA tournament. 2 for 2 today, 3 for 3 last week.
The great thing about this flag, Anish, is it's a free try. So you can be super aggressive right now if you're Virginia. Take a chance, jam the ball inside.
You can also let some of this clock run off. So when you get the extra man, you can essentially hold for 1 shot or 1 possession.
You know, in a lot of these invert situations, Virginia's crease players have to get higher. They're crowding the ball carrier too much.
Shuts. Anvils down the alley. Back to Schellenberger. Takes a peek at the shot clock. 10 to shoot. Schellenberger, top side, bouncer, too high. Virginia will have an extra man advantage. 48 seconds to go in regulation.
Players cramping up on the field for Johns Hopkins. You see the fatigue on Schellenberger's face. You know,
5-1 white, sides, possession, 30 seconds, 30, 60 on that.
tension combined with exertion equals fatigue. Now here comes this extra man unit that's been on fire in the second half of the season. Cormier's got to be stopped defensively. He's typically in the slot area or off to the left wing.
Colsey's been a weapon as well. 5-man up goals entering today.
Doing your best if you're Hopkins defense to stop this from the inside out and let Chase Irwin get a beat on it from 12 yards or further.
Virginia's EMO clicking at about 60% on the season. Cormier, that was the old possession shot. 35 seconds to go in regulation.
Rolled off the top of his stick.
Timeout. Entering today, 12 of 19 in the last 5 games. Millen. Schellenberger thought about it. Shelley gets it back, even strength. Millen, 10 seconds on the game clock. Can the freshman be the hero? Not sure who he threw it to. We have a loose ball hold on Virginia. Blue Jay ball with 3 seconds. Shot on goal. And we are going to overtime. A matchup made for May, writes another chapter. The face-off circle, the loneliest place in Towson. Gobriel and Callahan. Next goal wins. Winning team to championship weekend. Callahan punches it ahead. Callahan over to the wing. Loose ball rolling to the sideline. Can he keep it in bounds? Virginia out of the scrum, and the Cavaliers able to get it back after Johns Hopkins won the faceoff, and now Virginia turns it over. Blue Jays had their 23rd turnover. Virginia coughs it up for a 17th time. Virginia's never led in this game. The Blue Jays jumped out to a 4-0 lead. No hidden ball trick that Virginia would fall for. Peshko's got it, near side.
Hopkins now will be sitting on a timeout.
Peshko at 4 against Virginia in March. Collison has 2 overtime game winners this season, 16 in white. Melendez, 4 goals today. Melendez turned back.
Collison's been the guy all season long.
And he's got it. He had the game winner against Lehigh last week. Clutch Collie down the alley. Back to Angelus. Angelus turns the corner. Kastner recovers. Now it's Bauer. Shot clock inside of 30. Peshko with the short stick matchup. Trying to bully Chismar. Peshko missed the cage. Melendez closest to the ball. When it went out, 19 to shoot. 2:41 to go. Overtime number 1. Tied at 10. Blue Jays have a timeout. A chance here for Hopkins. Morris, the biggest save of the game for Virginia. Weyer snags the rebound. Let's see if Virginia calls timeout or if they push. Schellenberger, a calming force. 3-time first team All-American.
He looks fresh, and I think they just need to give him more real estate, more space. They're crowding the goal too much. They need to set up the crease higher.
They've got Peshko trapped on defense with Chismar. These two are tangled near the crease. Now Chismar setting the pick. Schellenberger over to Millen. 3 goals, 3 assists for the dynamite freshman. Zulik, the veteran, hounding McCabe Millen. Hopkins crowd wanted a warding off. Now Griffin shuts. Back up top, Schellenberger steps into one. Bounce shot is well wide. Back up to Boyden and Virginia. 20 to shoot 90 seconds to go in overtime. Next goal wins. Boyden's got a hat trick today. Aviles stick checked it away. Loose ball. Blue Jays have it. Aviles with a huge play.
Ten-man, empty net.
Virginia still riding. Joronsky tiptoes the sideline. He lost it. Hopkins can't clear. We're going to get a push on Virginia. Shot clock reset. And the Blue Jays can pretty much hold for a final possession. Timeout, Peter Milliman. Shot clock resets to 80, 1:06 to go. And this Johns Hopkins offense and John Crawley, their offensive coordinator, will try to draw up the play that sends the Blue Jays to championship weekend for the first time
Guys cramping
since
up.
2015.
Joronsky running for his life. Millen tries the over the head. The ball's loose. There's no reason for Kastner to make contact with Joronsky. The ball was already out of his cross right here. As soon as he sees his ball pop out, he's got a layup. It's not worth it. And he actually got lucky that that was not called unsportsmanlike conduct or a cross check to the neck area.
Today's winner in this game joins them. Two storied programs with a long playoff history. And this will be decided in OT. Now, Hopkins has done the hard part, which is get the ball in the offensive half. Peshko out to Angeles, who's got 5 assists. Angeles gets freed. Kastner fell. Peshko wanted Melendez, who couldn't handle the pass. Comes back to Bauer. There's Melendez. He has it knocked away. Loose, rolling toward the end line. Ware, who else, gobbles up the ground ball.
Circle to your goalie. Wow, that's terrific defense by the short stick defensive crew.
20 seconds to go. Terenzi, dislodged. Hopkins wins it back. Unsettled. This could be it. Angeles, 10 seconds. Slams on the brakes. Why? 5 seconds. Melendez inside. Morris eats it up. Double overtime. Now, the Blue Jays did not have another timeout. It looked like it set up for an unsettled chance, and Angeles stopped. Reviewed, perhaps questionable. The ruling was McCabe Millen. If he was in the crease, there was not enough evidence to overturn the call. The goal stood. We're tied at 10. Callahan and Gobriel to face off. Callahan flips it forward. Ooh, it hit the ref. Ball is still loose. Hopkins had possession, bodies flying. And we're gonna get a loose ball push on Virginia, Blue Jay ball. First time that an NCAA tournament game has gone into double overtime since the Duke-Virginia semifinal in 2019. Ian Laviano won that in overtime for UVA.
Collison, 16 in white. He's got to be dealt with.
Dylan Bauer, senior from Utah. Angeles over to Degnan. It comes behind the cage. Melendez, defended by Schroeder. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. A chance here. Peshko's shot deflected. Out of bounds. It stays with Hopkins. 24 seconds on the shot clock.
If you're the Blue Jays, you just want to get this defense in motion. Somebody draw a double team, and then great things will happen. Make Virginia slide, rotate, and recover.
Collison has it. Blue Jay hero this season. The sophomore from Canada gets it back. Lost it. It's on the ground. Schroeder and Virginia dump it ahead to Schellenberger. Virginia now will wait for its offensive personnel.
That's defense, huh? Virginia digging in. Guys are just gassed, walking, jogging off the field.
Under Lars Tiffany, Virginia 12-2 in the NCAA tournament. Looking for a fourth trip to championship weekend in 5 years. And maybe the greatest player in the history of the program has the ball in his stick, Connor Schellenberger.
He looks fresh. Virginia wants to talk this one over.
Timeout, Lars Tiffany. Case Erlin has been sublime in goal for Johns Hopkins. What's he thinking right now?
He's done the training. You just take a deep breath. Choose love over fear, Anish. You love these moments. That's why you play the game.
Here is Schellenberger against Smith. Wheels down the alley. Changing direction. Left hand! Shelley wins it for Virginia! The Cavaliers in double overtime, and they're headed back to championship weekend! They'll play Maryland in what has turned out, Quint, in these last 4 or 5 years to be the postseason rivalry.
Philadelphia, the link. If you've never been to championship weekend, please show up and bring some youngsters. Notre Dame, Denver will be game 1. Virginia, Maryland is the nightcap. ESPN 2 on Saturday.
How about this? In round 1, we had all chalk. All 8 seeded teams advanced. In the quarterfinals, we got a little chaos. The 1 seed Notre Dame moved on, but we got a 5, we got a 6, and we got a 7 going to championship weekend. The semifinal stage is set. We'll see you in Philadelphia. Virginia wins a double overtime thriller here in Towson.